Thank you for joining me on the Truth Tectonics channel. Question for Christians and religious people. Why is fear a currency in your belief? Why do your gods threaten people into submission? Why do you have a hell? Why? Or you say, God has to punish sin. God is just. Okay, God has to punish sin. And your God is just. So in the normal world, if someone steals a pen or a chocolate or a biscuit, the judge is not going to sentence the person to 20 or 30 years in prison because that is not a fair judgment. If you throw paint over someone's window in the US, the judge will not sentence you to death. Not at all. It will never happen. Yeah, because it is not a fair judgment. Being just means the punishment um, is requisite to the crime. But your gods will send people to burn for all eternity because these people did not believe in them, threatening them with violence, believe me or love me, or like some celestial Kim Jong Un. Kim Jong Un, you watch the videos where people are crying, they're clapping, they're crying because they're in his presence. Do you think that is real or normal? He can literally, with just a sentence, end someone's existence. He's that powerful in his country. He is that powerful. And your God is a celestial Kim Jong Un. Love me or else. Why is fear a currency in your belief? If sin has to be punished, okay, to what end? Everyone listening to me has felt something hot before, and you know how painful it is. I think doctors say that the feeling of being burnt alive is the most painful experience a human being can go through. So imagine going through that for not 10 years, not 1,000, not 1 billion, trillion, zillion, quintillion years nonstop. To what end? What is going on? Why are you thinking like this? Why do you think this is normal? Why is the threat of violence needed in your belief? Imagine a drug lord goes into a city and meets a girl and say, "Oh, become my girlfriend, or else, I will burn. I will throw acid on your mother's face. I will break your younger brother's legs." And then she gives in because there's a threat of violence. Fear is the currency operating in that dynamic. Or a gang meets a guy, maybe in uni, cult, and says, "Oh, you join us, or we'll do something bad to your younger sister, or we'll do something bad to your family home, or we'll burn your daddy's car," or something like that. And then he joins because there's a threat of violence. Fear is the currency operating in that scenario. The very fact that a threat of violence exists in an offer entails that the person making the offer has no intrinsic value. The drug kingpin with the lady, if he had a good disposition and people liked him and he was maybe funny or charismatic and kept himself well, just like any other normal relationship, you meet someone and then they like you or not, and then you put your offer, let's go out, let's get to know each other. If you have intrinsic value and you're that type, they'll say yes. No repercussions for them turning you down. If there is a sorority or a club or something, and they say, "Oh, come and join us," and you like what they do, they don't threaten you, You can say yes today and say no tomorrow. You can say no now and later join them with no repercussions. That's because you're seeing the intrinsic value that they have. There is no fear. And then your Bible says, oh, perfect love casted out fear. It's there in your Bible. Perfect love casted out fear. And then it says God is love. What love? Where is the love now? Where is the love? Why is the need to threaten people and use fear? Love me or else. Worship me or else. Do my bidding or else. I really want you to think about this. Why? So, okay, many religious people. Yeah, okay. I've once seen a, a Christian who converted from Islam. His hand had been chopped off, and I saw him without his left hand. And if you are in the Mormon or Jehovah's Witness group as a Christian, and you come out of their group, oh my God, the ostracization you will face, or the shunning you will face is disastrous. They will ostracize you so bad. And humans, being social animals, we don't want to be left out in the shadows. So there's a threat. There's a consequence for you rejecting the offer. Doesn't make sense. So my question to you, religious person or Christian, is if there was no threat, if there was no fear, if there was no consequence of you turning down this offer of paradise and streets paved with gold and all that, if there was no fear, would you believe what you believe? Why do you believe? Fear is what bullies do. Eliciting fear is what bullies do. They want to cajole you into submission. They want to make you feel little, useless, worthless. That's what bullies do. Not a loving person, not a loving God. Imagine being in a relationship where somebody just bullies you and control you. Think of it now. A woman who is in fear or a man who is in fear when the partner comes home is they are, they're walking on eggshells. She's shaking while she's cooking. He shouts, she jumps. Or she shouts and he jumps. Whichever way. Controlled by fear. You want to tell me that's a loving relationship? So what's the difference between that and what religious people believe? Living in the knowledge or the dreaded anticipation that if they fall out of line, the consequences. Why? What is this? You can't breathe. You can't be yourself. You can't live your life. You can't be free. You're always watching your back, just walking on eggshells. You're being controlled by bully. You're being controlled by fear. And fear is not a characteristic of love at all. It's not a manifestation of love or freedom in any way, shape, or form. I want you to think about it, please. Thank you so much for listening.